I used to chase the ROI all the time, return on investment. And over the course of time, that has evolved into what I call return on life. Good day, everyone. This is Randy Dyck here on the amazing podcast, Return on Life. As you know, it's not always about the ROI. It's more important about the ROL, Return on Life. And today I have an amazing guest, Calvin Hexter out of Edmonton, Alberta. Calvin is a rock star. He looks like a rock star too, by the way, but his production and his team are just amazing. Calvin runs the Calvin Realty team, and amazing. Like, you're doing 150 plus ends a year. Your team does well over 250 ends. So just an amazing productive agent and team out of Edmonton, Alberta. And if my memory is correct, Calvin, you do a lot of investor work, right? You're an investment-minded realtor.
That's correct. Yeah, I would say that I would say greater than 50% would be investment focused deals that we'd be transacting with.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm pleased to have Calvin on the Return on Life podcast, and we're going to dive into some really cool stuff, mindset, what makes Calvin tick and how he gets return on life, of course. So why don't we open up with the most amazing question of all? How do you get return on life in this crazy business called real estate that takes us away 24/7 often? How does return on life fit into your world, Calvin?
I would say return on life is one of those things that I find I have to revisit on a regular basis because it's all about creating that balance that works best for you. And that balance looks different to everybody. And I find it's something, especially in real estate, because real estate's one of those things that likes to fill your schedule up. And if you don't fill that schedule up with your personal goals, like going to the gym, going on vacation, spending time with your loved ones, spending time with your spouse, guess what will take over your schedule every single time? Real estate. And real estate's not bad. I love real estate, but you can easily start to hate real estate if you don't continuously focus on that balance. Everyone's balance is different. So I would have to say return on life for me is I'm putting in the work now. I am putting in a ton of work now. Am I putting in more work now than I would like? I think so, but I know in the end that return on life is just going to get better. It's going to get better in the sense of freedom. It's going to get better in the sense of lifestyle that's available to me. It's going to get better in the sense of traveling. And so I'm definitely paying a little bit more upfront to get more of that ROL down the road.
Awesome answer. Yeah, it's about do I pay now and get to play later, or do I play now and pay later? And I think you're taking the attitude, well, I'm gonna pay a little bit now so I can play more and more later in life. So I love that. Do you need to
Definitely.
be, and I know you are a millionaire, you've got lots of investments and stuff, but for a lot of our listeners, they go, well, I gotta have millions of dollars before I can really get that return on life. Do you think that's true, or can you get that maybe if you don't have that uber amount of money in the bank?
I think you can get it at any stage. I mean, one thing we get that question all the time. A lot of people are like, I'm not going to be happy until I have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. I'm going to answer this question in two parts. I'm going to answer it from a realtor perspective, and then I'm going to answer it from a non-realtor perspective. From a realtor perspective, I'll meet with the top agents in my area on a regular basis, and we'll talk about earnings. We'll talk about how your life has been, what's happening. And it's funny because you can go from making, say, 150 to $200,000 in a year, and then you can end up having a year that you make 500, 750, 800 million plus, like a handful of agents do. And then, one of the conversations we had is your happiness grow. Is it synergistic with your income? Is happiness and income synergistic? And it's not. It's not even freaking close. If anything, I can tell you in many cases, if you're putting all the time, if you're trading time and energy for income and you're hoping that it's synergistic with happiness, it will not work. It will not work. It is not even close. It's when you're not trading time and energy for income that you can actually start to accelerate with happiness. And I know that's probably going to take people a second that's listening to understand that concept, but that's how I view it. And a lot of these big hitters that are making this, that are training their time and energy for a better income, again, their happiness goes down. So I don't think it's synergistic. I don't feel like there has to be a certain benchmark of money in the bank, income coming in to be able to have that return on life. I think the return on life comes down to one word, in my opinion, and that's progress. I think progress is the most powerful word in the dictionary that's going to lead you towards happiness. Progress could be anything when it comes to progress towards your goals, progress with your relationships, progress with your income. Progress could simply be you're 30 years old, you're renting right now, and progress could be buying a property and renting out a bedroom to help offset some of the expenses or subsidize your living costs or put that away for, your regular trips to Hawaii with your other half. So I don't necessarily think there's a benchmark with return on life. I think you take it and do it right now, right? But I do think that return on life comes back to you seeing progress in the different facets of it. And I think if you stop seeing the progress, I think your return on life can be affected as well. So kind of, I don't know if that's too much of like a coded answer, but that's how I perceive it anyways. So.
I love that. I have not heard somebody use that word and brought that much out of that one word. So progress. I like that. That's a great word and a great way to see how you can continually be growing. So I love that. What's a principle or a rule that you live by daily? Is it principle? Is it progress? What's the
I would definitely say progress is a huge part of it. I mean, I want you to think like anybody that's listening right now or watching us, think about your happiest days. Your happiest days are usually where you made some kind of progress. And again, don't just think financial. Think about you had a really good, you could have had a really good talk with the father-in-law. You had a really good talk with your mom. You spent quality time with the people you needed to, and you were able to progress something. You built something. You built something. You did something. You offered something to somebody that offered a great, a level of happiness. You progressed in whatever it is. You went to the gym. Why do we feel happy after the gym? Because you made progress. You know what I mean? So I would say, yes, I would say if it comes down to one word, I would definitely use it. That would be it. If I can progress in some way, shape, or form in every single day, I know that my fulfillment meter at the end of the night, when it's ready to go to bed, is going to be at the level that I want it to, and I'll have a better quality sleep leading into the next day because of it. So it's kind of like do this today so you can sleep better tonight and have a better tomorrow. And I think if you live by those basic small steps, don't compare yourself to the people that are, making twice as much to you, 3 times as much. It doesn't mean they're happier. It doesn't mean they actually even have a return on life. I think as long as you're making progress to get that return on life that you're looking for, I feel like you're set up. You're set up and it's not ever too late to start.
Yeah, I like that. I think of happiness for me is not just one thing, but it's multiple things that I'm engaged in, from work to family to working out. It's like all of those things fit in one day. That's a happy moment. That's a happy day. So I love that. You know, on the other side, we have things that happen to us, crucible moments, things that, oh my goodness, I wish that would have never happened to me. But after going through that process, that moment, that whatever it was, a car accident, an injury, a bad deal, things that really set us up in life. What are crucible moments that have shaped your journey and your success?
I would say two parts. First part was growing up and not having a lot of income growing up, not going on vacations, growing up, not being able to do what I see a lot of other kids get to do. Grew up great, love my mom, love my dad to death. They're fantastic. Weren't financially set the way I think that maybe I want my kids to be experiencing life and just and all that. So I think that was part of the fuel growing up, is just being able to provide something that I would have loved to have as a kid. And so that definitely adds to the fire. I mean, the fire, when I speak of that, when I'm referencing the fire, we all wake up with a certain level of energy because you have a fire lit inside of you. And that pushes you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. That makes you get up earlier when you want to sleep in. That makes you push a little bit harder. That means, doing more with your meetings, getting more out of the day. And when that fire starts to dissipate, you'll notice that it's harder to get up. And you got to make sure that that fire stays lit. And I would say one of the reasons that my fire is so strong would be knowing that I want to be able to build a better future, maybe a future that I didn't experience when I was younger. And I would say that's one part. I would say the second part to that, of that moment, we've all had a job, and I hope everybody has had an opportunity to have a job that they dislike, or a job that they feel like they're not living their life's purpose. And it gets to the point where the pain to stay the same outgrows the pain to change. And that change pushes you into a job that you start to appreciate. And I can tell you that I came from the fitness industry of 13 years, which was great. I expired after year 11, and I sat it out for another 2 years. And I didn't think that there was anything else out there for me. I had no idea what direction to go into. I was scared. I was literally, all these emotions are coming through, and I don't know. There's no one that's going to tell you, Calvin, these are your skill sets. This is the career that's going to be best for you. And changing careers, especially when you're making good living, is frightening, especially if you have expenses like homes and people you need to take care of. So I would say that the biggest moment for me recently would be the career change into real estate back in 2018. And it makes me appreciate my day to day that much more. But I feel like for you to have that level of appreciation, you have to have gone through some major adversity. And that adversity to me was not living my purpose through my previous career.
Hmm.
And that's pushed me to it pushes me to make sure I want to succeed, make sure that I do succeed. Because if I don't, I know where I'm back going. I'm probably going to go back to where I'm used to, which is a position that I want to stay as far away from as possible. So I'm trying to achieve hyper success so I can be so far away from that ever even being a possible moment in my life again. And I think that's been a push. And again, anybody that's listening, if you're younger, enjoy the crap jobs, because when you find one that you absolutely like and are passionate about, you'll realize how much more passionate you are about it if you have that contrast. So you got to have the bad to be able to understand the good. You got to have those cloudy days like you're seeing in White Rock, so you can appreciate those sunny plus 20 plus 30 days. Because if every day is the same, there's no contrast, there's not that level of appreciation and gratitude, in my opinion. So
Love that answer. So back to the fitness world, obviously a ton of discipline, and you probably coached a lot of people on discipline. That's probably the hardest thing for most people when they enter the gym, is the consistency and the discipline of doing it over and over and over again. Um, what are some of the influencers that you had in your life, or maybe it's people, books, but what influenced you to have that kind of discipline? And then how did you translate that into a daily schedule?
you know what I would take it back to? I remember when I was 13 years old, I think it was 12, 13 years old. And I noticed that my shirts never fit me well. I was like that skinny kid, and I always had like the wave at the bottom of the shirt. So like I'd be wearing it, and it would look like I'm always kind of wearing like this oversized shirt, even though it wasn't oversized, because I didn't have anything to fill out. And I saw those guys. I'm like, why does my shirt look like this? And it was like I was self-conscious about it. And I'm like, what do I do? Do I need to grow a stomach to? I didn't know what to do. And then I saw these guys walking around, and like, I always noticed that they're, even the shirt sleeve was always very baggy. I'm like, am I buying oversized shirts? Because they don't feel oversized, but the shirt sleeves are always so much bigger than what my arms are. And I started noticing, I was like, I like these guys that have, the shirts that fit tighter. They just look better. They look more confident. And so I would say early on, when it comes to discipline, I learned it from the gym. And I think anybody that comes from a sports background or an athletic background, whether it's working at the gym, whatever it is, there's a certain level of discipline that's required for you to be able to achieve that. Now, I knew that I wasn't going to be, 5 sessions in the gym to be able to get that. But what I noticed is after the first year, I started getting closer to that goal. And it was me going 3, 4, 5 times a week when I didn't want to go, when I didn't, when I had no energy, whatever it was. And I noticed I was getting closer towards that. And that really taught me that life's a long-term game. Life's a long-term game, and it's having these repeated good habits that are going to put you in the direction that you need to go. And you can't accept success just by doing one or two things in a short period of time. It's that repeated behavior over the long term that's going to help you see those good success. Now, it's easy to go into bad habits. I mean, it's easy to go ahead and get in, I can talk about bad habits all the time. But I would say that discipline has taught me going forward, especially in like the career side of things, where it's like every single day you need to do this, 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 this. You may not see immediate results, but over the long term, you have to have a level of faith that you're headed in the right direction. And you'll start to see little key indicators that you're doing the right thing along the way. And those key indicators you really need to pay attention to, because that's going to show you whether you're on the right path or not. So I would say that that's helped me stay focused towards that North Star and stay on course and not get lost.
Okay, so then we're talking about success that you're having. And there's a saying, the fear of failure is a motivator. So did fear play? Is it still playing a part? If it is it a friend? Is it a foe? Is it a motivator?
Great question. I would say, and I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I'm gonna go out there and say, like, I would say your fear changes. I would say your fear changes as you grow. So my fear when I first started as a real estate agent was, am I going to be able to do my first deal? Am I right for this industry? And then you start getting into it, you start doing more deals, and your fear changes. Your fear is, and my fear was like, I always wanted to be the top in my area. I'm like, am I ever going to be able to be top in my area? And then my next fear is, am I able to start a team? And then my next fear is, am I able to be one of the top teams in our area? And then the next fear is, am I ever going to have the opportunity to get on a stage and speak? And then the next fear. So I would say that your new fears unlock based on the chapter and the growth you are in your life. So I would definitely say it's a motivator. My fear right now, which sounds so silly, if I personally, and my goal for next year, I'm gonna go ahead and make it aware to everybody. My goal for next year is to get out of production and focus on growing a large team that's highly successful, that is all over Alberta. So taking over Edmonton as well as Calgary, and being able to build a large machine, but getting out of production myself. We've had the team since October 2021. Yes, it's fast for me to get out of production, but I think it's the way that I need to go. My fear right now in production is doing less than 10 deals a month. I know it sounds obnoxious.
Well, I can relate to that because I've gone through that process as well. Because I was like you, cranking out 150 plus deals a year, and then I backed away from it. And it's the production side that makes you who you are. At least you think it is. It's your DNA. It's everybody knows Calvin or Randy because of their amazing ability to crank a lot of deals. And then one day you say, I'm going to do less deals. And so I had people coming to me all the time saying, what's wrong with you, Randy? And so I had to say, well, it's by design. It's by design. Like you have to convince yourself, because it feels really odd not to be grinding and grinding and grinding deals. So I can totally understand where you're coming from on that fear side of things. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. What about your gifts? You have some superpowers. What do you think is your greatest superpower, and when did you realize you had this gift, this superpower, so to speak? Was there a moment? Was there something that went, "Oh my goodness, I'm pretty good at this because of this"?
Good question. I mean, I've had this question asked before on icon panels within eXp Realty, and I feel like my answer kind of always changes. I would say the gift that I'm most grateful for is, I would say that, I mean, I have a genuine interest in people, I think, which helps me with what I do. When I'm talking to someone, I have a genuine, I have this level of curiosity that I think helps me massively when I'm working with people, because people want to feel that they're heard and understood. And I think that helps. I'm not going to give that as my superpower. I'm going to say, if I were to nail it down to one thing on what my friends would tell you, charisma, I would say, is maybe one. I'm not going to, I feels weird me saying that, but I'm going to say that if you were to ask my 5 closest friends, they would say, the charisma definitely helps.
I'm going to say,
I would say it definitely helps.
I'm going to agree with that because I've been in a room with you and you have a ton of charisma. So I'm going to say, yes, that is one of your superpowers.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So as my 6th closest friend, Randy, I like that. I like that you can support that as well. And I think that helps. I think it helps just, being dynamic. I love speaking on podcasts like this. I love being present in front of large groups of people. Not everybody does. My girlfriend's biggest phobia which I think is the number one in the world, is speaking in front of public. I actually really enjoy it and I embrace it and I lean into it. And I think part of having that charisma helps a little bit too. And it makes me want to lean into to that a little bit more. So I would say that's maybe more of a unique feature. So
Now, we may have to come back to this question because it's a really big question, but what is your biggest idea? And maybe you can't answer that today, but what do you think is the biggest idea you've ever had and that you executed on? Kind of a tough
biggest
question,
idea.
like a big idea. And maybe it's
Yeah.
not the
I mean,
biggest, but a great big idea that you said, man, that's a great idea. I'm going to execute on that.
okay. Let's go through my latest great idea. Let's, if that works. My latest great
Latest, yes.
idea that is that is relevant to me right now is growing a mega team.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing a mega team and having infrastructure within it to keep everyone engaged along their own particular career path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just gave you a big suitcase there, and I know it takes a little bit to unravel. So having the mega team where I can step out of production, eventually the goal is to build up a team. Once I have 15 agents, I actually had this term, a squad leader. And as you start to have increments of 15 team members, like realtors, when I go to 30, so 15, you'll have a squad leader. So a squad leader is someone that has the higher level of maturity and has that high level of coaching ability within your team. So it also helps them get more fulfillment, challenges them a little bit more, boost their income because they're taking over 15 people. Once we go to a team of 30, we have another squad leader. Team of 45, another squad leader. So it's creating these little, these little tribes within the larger organization of Calvin Realty, but it offers everyone levels of growth and opportunity along the way. Because for me, what I don't want is I don't want turnover. Turnover is extremely expensive and it can really, 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 really impact your growth trajectory. And so coming up with these ideas like that, and then eventually down the road is I'd love to get into coaching. So my goal at the end of next year is to start a coaching program and then offer this opportunity within my team down the road to be able to be a part of that coaching program as well. This coaching program would be specific towards realtors. And I would love to host more events. I feel like there's never enough support that we can offer realtors, new or existing. And I think with the coaching perspective that we would be taking, I feel like we'd offer something new that's maybe not explored before. And so I would say my biggest idea would be growing my team to a certain volume where I can get out of production, creating these career paths within the team, and then going and focusing majority of my attention of not only running Calvin Realty, but having a large coaching program that's offered to new and existing agents, where I'm completely out of production entirely.
Awesome, awesome stuff. Yeah, the approach that you're looking is really a Navy SEAL approach where they bring up people from within and give them a squad and then another squad, another squad. So that's really, really cool. And I so get you for being on stage because I've seen you on stage and you're an absolute natural and rock star. You did the Edmonton Forum sold out event that I was at. I was honored to be there as a guest just watching. And what an amazing event. So you have a real gift, a real talent for not only having the voice in the room, but also having the ear of the room as well, which is a really unique thing. So you've got great leadership ability, and I'd love to see you build out a coaching program. I think that would be awesome. That'd be really awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk about success. So what do you contribute your success and how do you think this came about? You talked a little bit about your family, your childhood a little bit, but your work as a trainer. Do you think all of those things led up to it, or was there something else? Was there anybody that was influential? Just finished reading a great book, Who Not How, where it's really about the who's, not about how to do it, but to find the who's. Is there anybody that you want to put on the stand and say it's because of this person or that person that helped me? Is there anybody in your life?
I mean, I'm going to say it's a combination of people for sure. I mean, having great mentors and having great coaches is going to help. And I think having a diversity of them because everyone's going to have a different outlook and a different opinion based on the problem that you're going through and the opportunities. I mean, I would say this is a great example. I mean, Randy, putting me on a platform like this to be able to speak to you, someone that's been in the industry for a very long time that is seen as one of the top. I mean, I've been able to get on the phone with you, ask you some challenging questions, take an insight into your team, even take, one of the basic things off the beginning was, my goal setting sheet for the year sucks. I need to revamp it. What do you use? Anything you can recommend? It took you no time at all. Within minutes, you had it sent over to me. So, I mean, there's such a large quantity of people. I mean, that I can say that has helped out. This is just one example. I mean, on a regular basis, I would say just surround yourself. I mean, it's such a basic example we hear time. I hate even saying it because I feel like it's not even like original, but it really is the people around you. I mean, I'm at the point right now where it's like my success is literally hinged on the rest of the team that I'm working with. And when I'm out and about right now, I just look for amazing people. Because amazing people I can take from other industries, I can teach them real estate, and they can be amazing within our team, right? So I'm not even looking at, are you looking at getting your license? I'm going out for dinner. I'm watching people. I'm watching people. I'm watching the waitress. I'm looking at my interactions. I'm going to the dealership, and I have no problem asking them and telling them I love what you do. I think you have huge potential. Your people skills are fantastic, or whatever it is authentic to them. And I'll ask them, have you ever thought about a life in real estate? And I'm so confident behind that question. And I mean, it's hard not to say no when you see how much opportunity real estate can provide you and your family. So I would definitely say, like, without going down another rabbit hole, I would say it's definitely the people you surround yourself with and having a team. I mean, it's just having amazing people that are going to help support you. I mean, Randy, you probably see the exact same thing. I mean, you have a massive team, and I mean, there's people that put in hours and hours and hours, and it's not even just one person, but it's a collaboration of great people that work together collectively. A players like to work with A players, so put more A players on your team because as soon as you bring a C player on, either C players is going to get outsed or it's going to end up making A players leave. So just know who you're filling the bench up with and make sure it's the right people.
Well said. A players breed A's, and A's don't like C's, and C's just get in the way of the A's. So not like that.
That's
But
right.
top talent is really the key to everything, and top talent solves all problems in any business. And in real estate, it's even more of a problem solver. Speaking of real estate agents, what do you see the future of a real estate agent? Do you see more agents, less agents, more teams, more team leads? Where do you see the real estate agent fitting in the future of real estate?
I see the industry getting more competitive. I don't see it getting easier. I mean, if you look at the numbers in like Ontario, BC, Alberta, they seem to be just increasing. Um, I mean, even in respect to like the population growth, I would say that real estate is just one of those industries that have had a flashlight. Like it's really been, I mean, you have Selling Sunset, you have all these shows that are really highlighting how great it is to be in real estate. And I think it's putting a lot of people in this space, and I feel like that's not going to slow down. Real estate's a very fun, very rewarding industry, and the word gets out, and I think it's just going to get more and more competitive. I do feel like to survive, it's going to be a lot harder to be solo, so I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more people take on the team model. I know here it seems like there's a lot more people that are adopting the team model. Some people that maybe, yeah, anyways, we're not going to get into that, but I would say that, when it comes to it, I definitely see more team models and I see more people engaging in coaching to be able to succeed because we know the failure rate is so high. And I do feel like with the more bodies that are coming in, the failure rate is just going to be increasing as well. So
Yeah.
that's my perception of it. I'd be interested to hear. What do you think? Randy, what do you tell me? What do you think? What do you
I
think is going
really
to go?
think,
Whether it's completely opposite of my view, what is it?
well, I really think there's going to be less realtors actually. And for these two reasons. One is that the current population of realtors is really aging. So it's getting older and older. So there's going to be a lot of these aging realtors getting out of the business. it's also getting more challenging from a perspective of paperwork and expectations. And so those agents are just saying, like, I'm out of here. Because I remember writing a deal on one page, and now they want me to write a novel to do deals. So that's going to flush out, I think, a fair bit of the older agent. And I also see that we're going to see where you need a diploma or a degree, not just take, 6-month course. And so that's also going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So that the barrier to get in is going to be more difficult. So I just see more or less agents, and I see more being led by a team lead like yourself, Calvin, or like a lead like me, just bringing it all in house. We're seeing that in the medical industry, where doctors are now pooling their resources instead of having their individual practices. They're having a group practice. So I see more and more of that happening in real estate. That's my view.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we're seeing it right now in the market. Like when the market gets more challenging, it's a purge. We always see a purge, right? And I think you see a purge in every industry. When the automotive industry gets challenging, when the real estate industry, like you're always going to purge select individuals out, or those that find it too difficult, or those that, so yeah, I mean, we're seeing the challenge right now. We're hearing it on the streets that a lot of real estate agents are having maybe one of their most difficult years yet this year. So it's a very interesting, and I mean, if you can survive these purges and set up the infrastructure to be successful, and weather this storm, then good for you, because that's a huge success.
Yeah, right on. Let's slide back into return on life a little bit here. And when I think of return on life, I think of all the childlike things that we've done where there was no pressure, there was no return on investment. It was just, how much fun can I have in a day? And there's two gifts that we are given as children that are just the most amazing gifts. Number one, curiosity. And number two is our imagination. I don't know about you, but my imagination ran wild. One day I was an astronaut. The next day I was a cowboy. The next day I was a police officer. The next day I was just, hey, whatever I wanted to be. How does curiosity and imagination fit into Calvin's world on a regular basis?
I think the curiosity keeps you energized, because I think once you lose the curiosity about life and you feel like you've experienced everything, it can seem very deflated. The colors that are vibrant are no longer vibrant, they're dull. And so I think if you lose your level of curiosity, the lens that you're looking through naturally changes on how you view the entire world. So I think you need to stay curious, or else everything will get affected because of it. And if you find you're going through that moment where your lens is now dull, and the flowers aren't vibrant, the grass isn't vibrant, your experiences aren't vibrant, I think it shows you that it's time to change your situation up. And that's your body, that's your mind telling you it's time for a change on whatever that may look like. So you said curiosity, and the second one was imagination. Yeah, I mean, imagination, in my opinion, well, I mean, it is important. I mean, imagination helps you come up with these crazy ideas, right? Like imagination helps you come up. You talked about, what's your biggest idea? I think, there has to be that level of imagination from it, because I think you have to be able to see it. And I think if you can't see it, it's hard to work in that direction. So I would definitely say that's a big player as well. I've never thought of it like that. So I mean, I'm put on the spot right now. I would definitely say, like, when it comes down to it, if you can't see it in your head through imagination in one form, it's going to be really hard to get there. It's kind of like when I used to play competitive hockey, the coach would always say, Calvin, think about the puck going in the net, visualize it. You know what I mean? And whether that's imagination, I know maybe it's a level of imagination. I'm going to go with it anyways. But I would say, like, in how I'm perceiving the question, I'm perceiving it as, I already have a team of 30. I only have a team of, I don't want to say I only have a team of 10. I have a team of 10. I'm visionizing right now, I need to build systems as if I have a team of 30. And if I build that infrastructure as if I have a team of 30, even though I only have 10, how much easier is it going to be for me to build those steps to achieve that? And when I have a team of 30, I got to start thinking, I have a team of 70. So the infrastructure, the training, this, everything that's involved with it. And I think it does take a level of imagination. I don't think it's just with real estate. I think it works with anything in life. So
Totally agree with you. And, that's the thing about imagination. We can make anything up that we want. It does not require anything from the past. The imagination's anything we want. So I have a quote that if you turn off your curiosity and shut down your imagination, you basically take the opportunity of everything that's good within you away. So turning on your curiosity and your
great
imagination
quote.
makes you who you are and gives you anything you want if you push through and execute on it. So really good stuff. Okay.
Fantastic. I like it.
Let's get down to some fun stuff. This is a bit of the speed round. We're going to finish off this amazing podcast with Calvin. Calvin, you've been awesome. But what does Calvin do? What does Calvin do to let his hair down? What do you do for fun?
Great question. Avid golfer. We have been taking tennis lessons. So we have 2 hours of tennis lessons this evening, which I'm stoked about. Any kind of sport. We play volleyball, we play slow pitch. So I would say athletic, like anything athlete-wise, absolutely love it. Going for bike rides. Love to travel. We got Hawaii coming up. So if anybody has any Hawaii recommendations, let me know. We're going to Maui, then the Big Island. So looking at vacationing a little bit more. We brought in a handsome puppy as of November of last year. So dog walks are, yes, something that I love to do when my hair is down. I love to go to the dog park. It is one of the best ways to reset your brain. Go for a walk, get some fresh air, and your purpose, you don't have a purpose besides just going out and going for a walk. And that helps just clear your brain and gives you a better objective for the day. But we're very active. Just went snowboarding last weekend with my lovely girlfriend, Amanda. And so, we're very, very athletic. So I would definitely say there's always some kind of activity involved. And the last thing I would say is movies, particularly horror movies. I was born on Halloween, so I think it comes with the territory. Love watching movies, love being able to take that imagination and just go. Speaking about imagination, I love to be able to just let someone take my brain and just go for the ride. Enjoy.
Cool. Okay. Do you prefer text, video text, talk, or face-to-face?
Face-to-face.
Face-to-face. Okay.
Without a doubt.
Cool. Audible or book?
Audible.
And what are you reading right now? What's a good book you're reading right now?
I'm not even reading a book right now. I'm not even faking it. Randy, I'm not reading a book right now. I actually have no book right now. I have a lot of books in my closet here in my little library. I'm not reading a single book right now. If you want to know what I'm saying is real, that's real.
I love it. I love it.
I should be.
Okay, last question. This is a bit of a trick question. If you were a scratch and sniff sticker, what would you be?
Jalapeno? I'd say spicy. I would say something that's gonna I'm gonna say something that's it's like, whoa, you feel it. You don't just smell it, but you actually feel it. I'm gonna go jalapeno. Love jalapenos.
I love that. Yeah. Hey, well, thank you for being an amazing guest on the Return on Life podcast. Great answers. You're just so awesome. And just wish you much success in building up that mega team across Alberta. I'm here for you. I will help you. You do whatever you need to do, but you lean on me when you need me. So thank you for being an amazing guest, Calvin.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all your help along the way as well. You've been a great mentor, great coach, and a great friend.
Awesome. Thank you, Calvin.
Thanks, Randy. Bye.